Okay, so I was told that I need to be in front of the camera instead of just behind it. So I'm going to do a quick introduction to my truck and what it is. I call this truck a Fraptor with an F because it started life as an F-150, not as a Raptor. And then through working with my friends at RPG Off-Road, we built it into a Fraptor. It has all Raptor or better components on it. So I'm going to take you for a quick tour around the truck. And then from there, we'll talk about the camper on the back of it, which is something that I think is cool, which is why I'm doing YouTube videos now. More just, I want to go on trips and, do stuff like that. On the front end, we did a whole conversion. It has Raptor style front fiberglass hood, fenders, Raptor grill, actual Raptor grill, fancy running lights. The grill and the lights are probably the most expensive part of all the body modifications. It has this fancy front bumper on it with these fancy LP9 lights, and they cut the frame horns and moved the bumper location all the way back so that it sits really tight back up against the truck. So that's overview of the front real quick. Now I'm going to take you in to look at the suspension. So now we're looking under here, and this has Gen 2 Raptor lower control arms, RPG billet steering tie rods, upgraded Fox coilovers with fancy finned reservoirs, RPG billet upper control arms. So that's all Raptor or better front suspension. Back here on the back, we have a custom Deaver leaf pack built for RPG that did like a 4+ inch rise, Gen 2 Raptor rear shocks with the delete for the electronics. Then there's also the bump stops, the Fox bump stops and frame support kit from RPG. And then when you go all the way back here to the back, you get all the way back to the billet shackles. Okay, so that was a basic overview of the truck. Now we're going to go back to the back, and we're going to look at the camper setup, the thing that I have more responsibility for. I was going to help with the build on my truck, but I decided that breaking my ankle was a better idea. So RPG took over and built out the truck while I was at home recovering from my build, or from breaking my ankle. Okay, so back here on the back of the truck, we have what's called a canopy camper. So basically it's like a pickup truck shell with a tent that folds up and a 270-degree awning. And then all the fancy build out inside that I've done to make it more usable for me. So now we're gonna cut to a time lapse of me opening the things on the camper, and then I'll show you around. Okay, so first thing that I wanted to talk about is the slide out that I built. So I looked at a bunch of commercially available ones, and they were just kind of out of the price range, and to be fair, I just like punishing myself and making stuff on my own instead of just buying it. So I bought it and bought 500-pound slides and welded the whole thing and then made all the stuff. So now let's pull it out and see what it looks like. So on here I have my Pie Grills smoker, and then I have Sidio bins, and they're all connected to this fancy L-track. I have new straps to hold everything down and make it all easier to use, but super nice to be able to just slide it out, cook, get to all my fancy stuff, then be able to just slide it back in. So when I'm on the side of the road and I want to make a peanut butter and jelly sandwich, real easy. Just get right in here and get my knife out, my PB&J, start going to work. So the next thing I'm going to show you is all of my hanging rack over here. Yes, I know it's a disaster. I was just testing stuff. So the center of this whole thing is that fancy Bluetti power station. So that Bluetti power station then powers a fancy 12-volt battery, lithium LiPo, however you say it. It's a Renogy battery. It's a 200 amp hour battery. And then goes to this sweet little switch panel so I can turn on and off my lights. And also charges the fridge. So there's a fridge freezer over there so you can have ice cream, you know, because when you're, you know, overlanding, you need ice cream. I mean, it's obvious. And then there's also this cool little device down here, which is the Bluetti 1. And so what that thing does is, as I'm driving, it charges the Bluetti, which is then charging the battery, which is then making the fridge run. It's a complex event. Okay, so now I'm going to take you on a tour of the bedroom. It's up there. Okay, so this whole space up here ends up all being bed, including where I'm standing, because this all folds down. And then you have this like twin size mattress thing up here. It's pretty rad. You know, it's all ventilated and then you can close it up, so works out pretty good. I like it. So see my national parks blanket that my parents gave me. Sick. Kept me warm in the 17-degree weather. Okay, so that was just a quick introduction to me and the truck, and now I'm going to close this thing up before it starts raining again and go home and work on projects at home and try to edit this video. Okay? Now you get to see a time lapse of me closing up the truck. It was also brought to my attention that I didn't introduce myself. I'm Jonathan. People call me Red. Don't know why. But I just really like to build things. I mean, hence the walls of tools and things. And, you know, take on too many projects and do a whole bunch of fun stuff like that. And I have a bunch of hobbies. I like trucks. I like cars. I like 3D printing stuff. I also like making stuff. Wood, metal, you name it. So that's just a rough introduction. If you have any questions, just ask away.